Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns. Today we have a fantastic race for you. We have the wonderful DazedCloud and smercjd here today doing some CrossKeys, round one of our Swiss tournament. Joining me in the booth will be Walter the Fourth, as well as Clear Mouse, and on the trackers will be myself and our good friend Sammy. So without further ado, I'm going to send it over to our very, very knowledgeable commentators, and I will start this race. Have a good one, guys.
Yo, Walter, are you excited for this? Dude, are you digging the music? This is amazing.
Yeah, this is sick. I kind of want the race to start so we can hear more of this music. Some other tracks, maybe. This is supposed to be a good one, right?
Oh, the race, the music, yeah. And in fact, I think earlier in Discord, if when Day said just give me a restream and I'll promise you guys something special. And holy cow, he's delivering. This is awesome.
Yeah, Dazed is pretty known for playing a lot of CrossKeys. We have a special channel even for him running CrossKeys all year round, not just during the tournament.
Right. I believe it was even called DazedCloud CGen until I guess the tournament officially started, and then it had to open up to other people. But just goes to show you that Dazed is of course a seasoned veteran here in CrossKeys, participated last year, and certainly had a really strong showing. He is back this year, hoping to perform just as well.
Yeah, it's Dazed is considered the higher seed from how we did the initial seedings of the tourney. So Smerc is a little bit of the underdog in this race, but there's been a lot of upsets in this tourney already, so can't count anyone out in this mode.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost as if CrossKeys can be a pretty volatile mode, right? You really can't count out anybody, right? In CrossKeys. And I think Smerc is relatively new, as you said. Kind of newer on the scene, but certainly has been very active recently.
Yeah, we got a pretty explosive start here already.
Explosive.
They starting with the Sank start, but it just turns into Uncle start anyways.
Yeah, and in fact, I think most of the race, at least so far, at least that I've seen, most people just start at Link's house and then they either go down to Witch's via Fake Flipper, or they go north towards the castle. And Dazed, the variation that we often don't get to see with Sank start, but of course just evolves back into Uncle start again.
Yeah. And Smerc found Hera really early here. He can't really do anything in there yet, but it's good knowledge so far.
Yeah, and in fact, as you said, we found 3 bombs in Sanctuary. These early bombs are just paying dividends for Dazed, right? Being able to drop down, checking back, into the back escape immediately. Nothing too exciting. Got a little couple extra bombs, but it also has a brick boomerang. Can probably check stun prize at some point.
Yeah, the boomerang, if he goes to over where Hera is, he can actually use that boomerang to hit the switchers, so he won't have to waste all the bombs to do it. It's a little bit quicker, but it looks like he's gonna head over to CAC instead. Smerc is heading over to the eastern area early here. Found backup, that's a good one to have knowledge about.
Yeah, so Smerc is really racking up these dungeons, right? Yeah, he said found back does where he found Hera. Unfortunately, even as we saw in Link's house, we just picked up a compass, which is really not useful. And based on all of the lack of resources, or not good counters on Smerc's side, we don't really have anything that he can, at least able to use in order to make some further progress. We are really looking for money at this point. More bombs would certainly be good, especially on Smerc's side. Other than that, we're gonna have to keep searching.
Yeah. See if he heads over to the Uncle area here as well. The tier 1 triple was 80 rupees, so that's super solid. Definitely one of the better ones you can get.
Oh yeah, it's just like CrossKeys, right? We need lots of resources. Not always guaranteed that we're gonna be able to find a bomb shop, but you know, it's better to you get the money and not find the bomb shop versus you find the bomb shop and you have no money. Speaking of more resources, Daze just pulled out a bow from the library, which is, I guess, some sort of waterfall fairy. Good thing he also picked up some random arrows, so he actually has a semi-permanent weapon to be able to use.
Yeah, that's a really strong weapon in terms of like killing a lot of the enemies. Definitely a bit more consistent than using the bombs.
Yeah, and with that red boomerang, he's going to be able to stun things, so he doesn't have to, you know, be as his aim doesn't have to be as true necessarily. Unfortunately, Daze is trying to farm out one of those 50-50 bombs in the bushes. Doesn't quite succeed, but he finds a bomb shop. I don't know if he's going to go back and buy some. Looks like he is going to be just good for now. So that looks like Smirk has found his 3 bombs in Sanctuary. It's always a good thing. Looks like he is contemplating writing down where all the locations are. This is very, very important in CrossKeys. It is better to mark, you know, take the extra time for you to mark all your locations correctly versus you mismark something and then it's going to, you know, cost you a significant amount of time later.
Yeah, it's good. It's like very important to find that balance of like making sure that you track all of the entrances, but also like trying to not take too long to do that, because like you don't want to stop for like every single entrance for a long time.
Right.
So that's why like a lot of the map trackers have been super popular in this game mode.
Yeah, anything that we can just, you know, kind of save yourself, right? You know, click here or like a point there is it's much easier, right? Much faster than having to type out everything. Although, so it sounds like, though, what we also found, thanks to our awesome trackers, Jinxie and Sammy Moss, Daze looks like he has furthered along his progression, but he got a glove. So this is one of like our big, like 4 or 5 items, really good for accessibility. It's definitely going to be one of those items where you could potentially get spit out from a connector that came from a rock that you couldn't otherwise go back to. So having gloves is going to be really nice, especially for the overworld.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, not only that, also a lot of the areas in the early game here, you would like automatically isolate a couple of locations as well if you don't have those gloves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's also going to make potentially, not that I think these guys are going to probably go there anytime soon, but you know, for areas such as, let's say, Ice Rock Cave area, right? It's going to make it slightly more appealing because you don't have to, in this case, isolate that. Like I think it was like the original vanilla, like 20 rupee cave or something like that.
Just jumps in blind here. Well, he saw what cave it was, but he didn't know about the item. He just hoped that it was going to be something good. Ended up being used to heart piece, so it's not like super valuable, but we are still low on hearts, so like it can be a while before you get some of those health upgrades early on. So
yeah, CrossKey, especially early on, can certainly be very low percent, and you gotta be pretty. You could be forced to do some pretty creative battles with a very limited set of items that you have. All right. Did we just find out the green pendant is Thieves Town today? Always great to see a pendant Thieves Town. Maybe not as much so matters in CrossKeys, but man, what a worthless back as a Hashima squad.
At least, I mean, every bad item you find is just means you're more likely to find. Oh, hello there.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of.
Right next to Saha, that's pretty convenient.
Yeah, no small key, no big key so far, but you know, and so probably just gonna get out the first 4 items and bail. So no mirror early on, but luckily for us, we have as little as health as we possibly could ask for. So death warping out of here is gonna be pretty straightforward, provided that Daze does not take a early death warp out. Looks like Smirk, though, is kind of following along in some of Daze's footsteps, you know, slowly retracing some of his locations. Looks like we did confirm that we found Ganon at the Magic Bat Drop, so We are always, of course, going to ask for hammer, but in this case, we really going to need that hammer before we end up killing Ganon.
I just gotta say, like, the Pirates of the Caribbean music in Thieves Town seems pretty fitting.
Yeah. There's no water here.
I mean, pirates are kind of thieves, right?
That you bring up an excellent point, Walter. I didn't even think about that. I was just hoping for some swashbuckling adventures.
Alright, we're gonna take this connector here. It's a one-way trip, but it does give us 2 items. And this is pretty much done in CAC anyways.
Yeah,
so you
and
save this for last.
Yeah, and also, conveniently speaking, Super Money Cave does have a full magic refill. He doesn't have any magical items immediately, but it's, you know, more resources, and it's better to just have the magic there. You know, than rather just kind of like once you get a magical item, you don't really have anything to use it with. So speaking of, very small minor time save, Daze is actually demonstrating that it is indeed faster. Speaking of magical items, we found the... Whoa, okay, alright, there is some amount of progression that we just saw Fire Rod and Flippers in Super Bunny. Just finishing up the thought is it's actually faster for you to go up the stairs and then come back down the stairs instead of dropping down in Super Bunny Cave. So
yeah, no, some good items there. Also pretty sweet to get like that full magic together with the Fire Rod as well.
Yeah, and speaking of locations that he is able to now go back to, he is spit out right at Ice Rod Cave, and he doesn't have to isolate what we just found to be Ice Palace.
Wow, not jumping into Ice Palace right away without the hammer. That's
I know. Can you believe that?
shame.
He's even got the Fire Rod. I think we the pin getter chest is in logic technically, right?
Yeah. I can't wait for Daze to come back in like an hour from now and get his Moon Pearl. So it looks like Smirk is gonna hold off with this entrance for a little while, probably check the rest of CAC first as well, and then maybe jump back in. So that's good, because otherwise he would have missed this glove here before getting all of that stuff.
Yeah, certainly makes sense. You know, if you see, especially a connector that can take a pretty significant amount of time, especially we don't have those boots or really anything else that kind of, you know, would speed up our movement, like the hook shot or the mirror. It certainly would be a wise decision to see if you can get something else in the vicinity to kind of help you out.
Again, another heart here from Hobo, so we're starting to get a little bit of health at least, which is good if we have to do like some of these early bunny walks in the Dark World.
Bunny walks, you know, are a foray into Ice Palace, where the Dark World certainly does not care whether or not you're on 4 hearts or 10 hearts. It will do just as much damage to you, and certainly on the higher side. We did see a mystery big key though on Lake Highlight Island, so eventually we are going to probably find a mirror. Chances are it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be a useful big key, but at least we know something is there.
Oh, and Smirk taking a death there, but luckily it is a dungeon, so he's just going to respawn in the same place.
Yeah, Smirk is demonstrating just how really painful or how hard the Dark World can hit. Especially in a late dungeon such as Turtle Rock, where those lasers do 4 hearts of damage, which is actually more than his total amount of health.
Yeah, with 5 hearts, he actually would have survived that hit.
Alright, so is Dazed is just kind of making his loop through. Did you end up catching what was on Zora Ledge?
It was just 10 arrows, I think, but it looks like Dazed are... No, it's gonna take this part on, okay. I was hoping it's gonna actually go back for Ice Palace, and getting a little bit hyped there, but no, he's gonna do the responsible thing, so...
Responsible? You mean he doesn't want to immediately die for one potential
It's
item
responsible,
in logic?
but it's like less exciting. So it's like...
doesn't he realize he's on Restream? Like, we demand entertainment and action here.
Yeah, maybe it's waiting, maybe it's just waiting to get rid of some of the hearts before going back.
Oh, right. Easy. Oh, faster death warp. I got it. I understand. That just looks like Smirk is also. Oh, are we in? Oh, those are okay. So he's just finishing up the Kakariko. Looks like he also dropped down. Didn't actually quite see what was initially there. Got his heart piece.
Yeah. And he's about to find his fuse tunnel entrance here quite soon. And we'll see if he decides to go for that one-way connector or maybe head up to Lost Woods where Dazed is right now.
Yeah, and oftentimes we are happy actually when we get to find Paradox Cave. However, this is one of those places where you really wish you had the mirror, because it's very often that we can block delete with that mirror in order to access like the 7 items up front.
Yeah, there's 7 items in there, but you just can't get to them yet. It's kind of cruel in one way. Oh, this is a really good entrance to have at Lumberjack, because we can get these two without beating Aga.
Yeah, that's right. This is one of those climbs where you can probably save yourself a good at least couple 3-4 minutes of making the Aga Tower climb. Of course, there are still 2 items in Aga Tower itself, but you certainly don't have to kill Aghanim in this case for what we just found off of Uncle, which is 5 rupees. So slowly but surely, I guess, Dazed is working his way up till Zora money. I think he already pulled 2 trees for a whole total of 160, and so I guess he's gonna nickel and dime the rest of the way there.
Well, we get our first bottle there, and it's blue as well, so that's really good.
Yeah, one of the best items, or fillers, bottle fillers you can get in this game.
And he keeps farming the tier 1 tree pull here to get up to that Zora money a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, we picked up the flippers. Neither runner has Hula Hand this early on, and actually, given the fact that they have flippers, so it's not as much of an issue for right now because Dazed does have a glove. But oftentimes it's a very common opening for people to Hula Hand where the useless fairy drop is, and right now with those flippers, that's not an option.
Yeah. They get another connector into Paradox Cave here, so we're gonna get these.
With bated breath, when Dazed is going to enter in and be a brave princess. Did we just see the boots up in Paradox Cave? Oh, what a great feeling! Sub 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's really nice. We had a little bit of a discussion. Well, it's actually not sub 5 minutes. It's just Dazed didn't start his timer until like 10 minutes into a race.
Dang it. Sub 15 is also still just as good.
Yeah. It's definitely still good. But yeah, Dazed was talking before the race started, and he predicted that he's gonna last locate his boots. So I guess he's in go mode now then?
Oh, right, yeah. Easy. Oh, dude, so speaking of being resourceful, so Dazed used his last bomb in order to bomb open actually this lesser seen bomb shop. With all the money he ended up farming, this was going to be a really nice way to be able to refill his bomb stock. So it looks like Smirk, though, has finished up what he wanted to do in Kakariko, and looks like he's actually going to be exploring South Shore for a little bit. Hopefully he will be able to get to another entrance of Paradox Cave, because we just saw Dazed pull out his boots relatively soon, so it would be really great if, in this case, both runners had some fancy footwear in order to go fast. Meanwhile, though, Dazed putting that red boomerang to use. I think you mentioned, Walter, it's great to really hit switches inside Hera. Well, the switches in Turtle Rock are just as hittable with that blue boomerang.
Yeah, in this game mode, it is really like all about using every little bit of resource you have and maximizing it. It looks like we have a different Disney song in each dungeon so far from Dazed. I kind of want him to find all of the dungeons now, so maybe he can go down here to Pod after this.
And maybe, yeah, that would be actually awesome, in fact. So, we would, hopefully this is going to be like a, pedestal, all dungeons, type of seed that doesn't require Aka 1.
I would be cool with that. But yeah, Smirk did find a Pod here down at the entrances right before Desert. Speaking of Desert, getting a small key for Desert as well, and we do have the the bow here, so he's going to be able to get a couple of more items. We do have one small key as well.
Yeah, and the fact that we are in. Oh yeah, like the fact that we actually see the desert small key earlier rather than later, it just means we don't have to save scout any keys, right? I think we both already found, at least Smirk found the back of desert, so he doesn't have to worry about stealing that key anymore in order to try and get to the right side of desert. Looks like we did find Sick Kid. I think maybe Smirk had already found that earlier, but we have, on day side we have a bottle that he found. Just 5 rupees though for his troubles.
Yeah, and he's gonna utilize the boots here to check out the bonk rocks. And probably gonna hope to find a sword soon, so he can stop dashing into enemies.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, so we really need a couple of nice things. I mean, boots are probably the hardest part to find, but having a sword really makes things worthwhile. Speaking of really nice items, Smirk.
Yeah, I got a really big find there in Pawn. So that bow required early on here to get the Moon Pearl. And so that's always nice to see in CrossKeys, because Moon Pearl can be in some really nasty locations sometimes.
Yeah, actually, speaking of, are we going to be able to hear bunny music? Hopefully, you know, I kind of wanted Days to delay finding the Moon Pearl so we could at least hear some Dark Oak music.
Oh, dang, you're right. I mean, there's still time. There's a potential for it.
Yeah. Alright, so it looks like Days hopped in the well. Was the book the only thing of value? Because I think we just saw a couple more like random rupees here and there.
I'm not sure. I think so. I think we got a big key as well, maybe.
Oh, did he get a big key? Okay, I think I just saw the book and a bunch of stuff that wasn't interesting after that.
Yeah. That usually tends to happen. It feels like every time you find a place that has a lot of items, all of them are junk. But yeah, it looks like we did get a big key for Tatarok, and then we also got a big key here on Smirk's side to Desert. So now we have both the small key and the big key. And we also know where the fire rod is, so we could actually beat Desert right now if we combine the items from both runners here.
Did you say Desert? I thought it was a Hera big key.
Oh, was it Hera? Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Well, we know where Hera is too.
Yeah, that's
unfortunately,
right. Yeah.
we can't beat Moldorm with the fire rod.
If only there was some sort of hack that would let us do that.
I wish.
Yeah, I was even thought about, you know, the fact that we actually have Hera small and Hera big, right? It means that actually we have some pretty accessible locations to Hera. But as you said, Moldorm, we cannot actually kill Moldorm itself because we don't actually have a permanent weapon to use.
Yeah.
Speaking of another connector here, though, Smirk has found a laser bridge. It looks like he at least wants to take a quick death warp to regain some health. Hopefully that was intentional.
Yeah, it's an awkward one to find early, just because like in this scenario, no matter what, Smirk would be like in a one-hit KO mode from the lasers. So it can be a little bit awkward when you don't have like any safety items.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the one item that we have on his side is the boomerang, and that does not unfortunately stun the hard hat beetle. And we're gonna have to find a hook shot in this case. So that guy is gonna be, you know, kind of quite a bit of annoyance in Smirk's way. Now, of course, this is being CrossKeys. There's no such thing as advanced logic. Every single thing on Laser Birth here needs some sort of invincibility item, or you need the mirror shield itself in order to logically access these items. So it's great that, you know, people can do, you know, laser skips and all that with or without boots, but certainly you're not expected to. Smirk did a really nice job in order to get those 10 arrows.
Yeah, that's classic. As soon as you risk your lives like 3 times over and you get 10 arrows for it.
Now, of course, like, the good news right about Laser Bridge is that, you know, if in this case you keep dying, like, the entrance is...
Yeah, I think, like, the only way you could get punished for this is to get the hammer on the bow locked side, but it's, like, such a small fringe scenario of that happening, so it's probably worth to not play around that.
That was a very well-placed arrow on Dave's side. You know, he just wanted to try and get those Baris out of the way so he could try and dash as far as he can. In this case, it worked. Smirk, being ever persevering on Laser Bridge, he is determined in order to get these chests. Looks like he did get a heart container though.
Yeah, it's kind of a cruel fate because he gets like an extra heart container from one of the chests, but it doesn't refill to the maximum health after he dies, so he's still on 4 anyways.
Alright, looks like he was able to at least succeed and get the second chest. Was only 20 rupees. But yeah, as you said, Walter, we needed like an extra like heart container or like a mail upgrade or something, right? Just in order to take that one heart edge off. Oh, is Daze going to join Smirk in his Laser Bridge endeavors? It looks like so.
Looks like he does have the boots though, so he can actually go for the boots place to skip.
Yeah.
Let's see if he goes for that.
Yeah, with Daze here, having boots, having more health, having that bomb in order to, stun the beetle, or at least in this case, like knock him off, he's gonna have a much easier time. Yeah, so at this point, it looks like Daze is going to try and reset his position. Yeah, so he's actually showing us a shortcut, or at least a much easier way in order to get that top bridge. The top and bottom chests, you can actually just fall into the pit and and you have enough time with your iframes to actually dash over to the chests.
Yeah, and I think at least one of the middle ones you can do that as well if you have boots.
Oh, you actually have enough time to do the middle ones? Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, at least the top middle one. I'm not sure about the bottom middle one, but I'm pretty sure you could maybe get the bottom middle one too.
Okay, so timing certainly does sound very tight. Yeah. And we actually do see that this is going to be another entrance that Daze is able to check with that book from the back of the well, as he's going to be able to check Desert Remain, which actually in this case is going to lead to another dungeon, which is Swamp. So we have not found the dam yet. We have, I think, we have one pendant's worth of information because we found Sahasrala, but I think other than that, have we even found a map yet?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we have no idea whether or not any of this is going to be necessary. Chances are, though, Swamp is going to be, required, or at least in some form or fashion. Speaking of, when we had already found some stuff in Turtle Rock already, it looks like Daze has found the King of Samaria, which is definitely going to give him a bit more accessibility into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup. It's a little bit unfortunate that it comes right after leaving Turtle Rock, but better late than never. It gives us access to like only one extra item right now, but it will be good to have later on.
Oh yeah, looks like is Daze on? Is he stuck?
Yeah, he's stuck.
Oh, that is really unfortunate. I think he was trying to set up the coffee break, right? So he takes the iframes on the pegs, but it looks like one of the tiles just knocked him on a position where he... Yeah,
he might have been able to save it if he picked up like all of the pots in advance with the cane there, but with all the pots being still intact down there, he wouldn't have been able to hit like the switch even with the cane. This one looks a lot better.
Yeah, this one looks pretty stable.
And Smirk finding Ice Palace here. It's gonna dip out for now as well. Or maybe not.
Or is he going in? This could be very interesting.
Yeah, the first chest is not too bad to get to, especially if you know like the bomb strats for the Pengators. So it could be like a quick dip for maybe the first one.
Yeah, Smirk is also showing us that we, still don't really have a permanent weapon on either side. I think it looks like he wants to kind of preserve some of his Virus shots for potentially later, but he's going to pull out that bow in order to try and kill the Key Bari. Alright, super worth and useful small key to Misery Mire. Oh no! On Smirk's side! Looks like he was actually trying to set up the bomb strats to kill the Pengator, but he is a little bit low on health.
Yeah, he went a little bit too far down. So he's just gonna leave it for now. I like that.
I mean, this
Laser Bridge, it made more sense to like keep going because like you're death warping into the same room that you're already in. But here, like it takes a while to get back to that room again, so I think it makes sense to just dip out for now. And Dazed is gonna climb here. Not gonna be able to beat the boss unless we find a hammer or sword on the way up, but we'll be able to get at least 2 items from this.
Yeah, I was actually very curious to see Dazed's decision, you know, in order to climb all the way up here without a potential weapon to kill the boss. However, as you said, Walter, we've got a lot of potentially good items up here, and if he happens to find a sword or a hammer, he is sitting golden. Looks like he is gonna choose not to at least attempt a bomb jump over. He's just gonna drop right down, and this is also pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's a little bit more risky to do it when you don't have the sword. With the boots, though, you could, I guess, get those pixels back by bonking. But he's just gonna play it safe here, and now drop back out.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, small key to GT is not the permanent weapon we were looking for in order to be able to kill Moldarm, so it looks like we are going to leave that boss for the time being.
Yeah, it would be sweet though if you could like beat bosses with small keys.
Yeah. Gives Retrons a whole new meaning. Did we just read a sign on Dazed?
Yeah. Did you know that this is like Lake Hyra?
You know, I honestly did not know that at all. Oh, Dazed. I don't know if he found that connector before, but he definitely found the good side of in my opinion, the worst connector of the game. You know, it's the one that you can just drop down. You don't have to end up climbing all the way up, especially without boots. It's just super slow. The key, unfortunately. But you know, we are lacking a light source for us to put everything completely in logic potentially. Actually, no. No, that's true. We can't get to the back of Eastern. So unlike advanced logic and non-endurance, we absolutely require, in this case, the lamp in order to get to the back. Yeah,
and Smirk went into the castle front and just still for a little while. I think he was probably trying to get to Hera and maybe like misremembered where it was, but he knew it was early game, so here we are. He's gonna get that cane.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be very happy to be able to see that, and he remembers that he was just in Turtle Rock, so he might be able to go back. Yeah, Dazed is dashing around. We can actually see that it would be really sweet if we can find a first sword so we don't have to keep dashing into these Stalfos and stopping our dash and restarting.
Would be nice, but I mean, that seems like a pretty first world problem from him because Smirk can't even do that because he doesn't have the boots yet.
That's true. Yeah, you know, at this point, it looks like Smirk is still making, you know, steady progress. Right? He has just found his key to Samaria, so he is certainly going to be able to make more headway into Turtle Rock if he chooses. But well, one of the things though that Dazed has right now over Smirk is those boots from Paradox Cave. Have you seen anything useful at Eastern Palace so far? Yeah, I'm slightly worried that, you know...
It depends what you define as useful. Like, do you like 5 rupees?
Well, you know, we are short on Zora cash. So, yes, 5 rupees is absolutely useful in this case.
Alright, then we found at least one useful item.
Okay. I'm seeing Dazed trying to do these dark rooms, actually. So he does actually have a little bit of where he, you know, in this case, like locator, right? The dust from the boots is certainly going to be an indication of where he is. And he's also got that red boomerang.
Yeah. So you got plenty of hearts here to do the damage boost strat.
Yeah, looks like nicely done. Doesn't even need anything extra.
Oh, small key to Ice Pulse, huh?
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to be another cue to remind him that, hey, Ice Palace is in fact open.
Yeah, we got the cane too. So like, if we get a big key and a hammer, all of Ice Palace would be unlocked.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, early cane actually just means that we got a lot of accessibility, and so we can do Icebreaker now. We're just gonna speed up Ice Palace a whole heck of a lot.
We're gonna take a connector here for Daze. I'm not sure if you saw this one.
This is the one that he got to Dark World Bog Rocks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's gonna take the flippers and just like go the other direction now.
Looks like Smirk is doing something very similar to Dazed earlier. He is also going to drop down. And as you said, Walter, before, not having a sword makes this bomb jump a whole heck of a harder because a lot of people kind of like they like to use the sword to make a good lineup, right? If you end up falling early and not picking up that small Q GT, you don't know that it's a small Q GT, but you're really feeling not good.
Yeah. It's a very punishing bomb jump to fail. So sometimes it's just better to be safe than sorry. Speaking of, this is a little bit low health here.
This place, actually, Dark World Shopping Mall is potentially just as risky, or because in the Light World and for the Ice Rock Cave area, you've got all these crabs that do 2 hearts of damage. Nothing really here in the Dark World does anything lighter than that either.
Yeah, you found the budget graveyard ledge there with some hearts and bombs.
Oh, speaking of, alright, so we found both invisibility items in the same cave.
Alright, so it wasn't the worst cave ever. That small cave for pod is actually pretty nice because that lets us get to backup pod. It gets us quite a few items.
Yeah, pod having 6 small keys. Certainly a couple of them are probably going to show up. In this case, we actually found pod relatively early. But yeah, as you said, with this couple of more small keys, we are going to be able to have a lot more accessibility towards the back. Smirk found Mini Moldorm Cave. Looks like we got ourselves a mushroom and a quick medallion.
Oh, we got mids on the right side of desert here, as well as a big key for Meyer, which is definitely not to be underrated. So interesting. If we find Meyer, we could beat it. It would not be in logic to beat the boss, but
holy cow! I don't.
You would have to really make the most out of your bombs and arrows at that point.
Yeah, and I don't think we found the capacity fairy upgrade either, right?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, so that could also be something that potentially we could spend our money on. Smirk is a little bit has a little bit less rupees, a few rupees than Daze, just because I don't think he took the time to farm any of the tier 1 triples. But if Daze so chooses, he could potentially stock up on some extra resources.
So Dave's gonna make the most out of this and get all of the connectors out of the way here.
Thank goodness he found boots before he decided to come to desert.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the places you want to have boots. Oh, yeah, that's a nice connector to Dark World if we had a hammer.
If we had a hammer, yeah. I think also
then again, I guess we do have mids, so we could get into Outcast pretty easily anyways.
Oh yeah, that's true. He literally just found that 2 minutes ago. Yeah, that's right. With those mids and Moopro, we actually have somewhat traditional and non-entrance Dark World access to only the one portal, which is near the Village of Outcast, but that is certainly nothing to sneeze at. Looks like though, Smirk, taking his newfound mushroom, is going to turn in immediately to the Witch's Help. We haven't found the potion shop yet on the inside, but once at least Smirk finds it, he's going to be able to see what that mushroom is going to turn into.
Yeah, it's always nice to be able to do that first time into the potion shop, because if it's in an awkward location, you don't really want to have to make multiple trips there. Wow, imagine being 50 50 rupees away from Sora and not playing the archery game when you're heading up to Catfish and gonna get your mirror from Catfish.
You know, the scenario that you just painted does not sound terribly pleasant.
I'm really hoping for it now.
Oh man.
Just instant karma.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be amazing if this happens. Alright, so you know, Daze is setting up for the potential quick warp setup if Catfish has our mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
Unlucky. Right, so Smirk is heading up here to the north part of the light world, so he might actually be able to get his boots quite soon. It'd be quite nice for him.
Yeah, and it really does look like having the boots is at least. Actually, I'm trying to think if there was anything that the boots had specifically locked, but you know, regardless, just the extra movement speed is going to be well worth it.
Mm-hmm. Looks like we're gonna get our first check at the pyramid here. Oh yeah, I guess Smirk just found the what's it called, the magic bat here, but he can't check it because he just turned in his mushroom.
That's right. He also does have a full magic bar too. I'm not sure if he wants to totally you know, expend out all of his magic in order to do it. Meanwhile, we might have just found
you get
our
half
first map.
magic from Magic Bat, isn't that the lore?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I was gonna say, as also though, speaking of potentially first maps, we have finally a map to a dungeon, so we might be able to get some crystal pendant knowledge soon. I highly doubt Daze is actually gonna do a map check because I think we've only just found one, but
yeah,
at least we still have something. Oh, hey, did we just find Old Man on Smirk's side?
Yeah, I think it's at the top of Lost Woods. Daze saw it too, but he never went through the connector though. Hopefully this is a connector where Smirk can get back again, because otherwise he'll be missing the boots again. Okay, he is actually not going to check it. Maybe he's unfamiliar with that dark room.
Yeah, it looks like he is just trying to potentially work out his map tracker to make sure that he logs the information correctly.
Oh, and here's Meyer. Alright, let's go.
Yeah, alright, yeah, Daze is going in. He's got boots. He's got the Canis Maria. He's got the big key to Meyer. He's also got a couple of routing small keys. So he is at least going to make... he can make some pretty significant headway into this.
I'm gonna be quite disappointed if it doesn't go for the boss here. He's using the cane right now, so like he's saving his arrows, right?
Yes, he's in fact is saving arrows and well, he had a 5-drop right.
Yeah.
So,
that's fair. There is also a 5-drop in this room here as well, just in case he would need it, but it should be fine.
Yes, should be. He also has the whole dark basement in order to get through because we haven't seen the lamp yet. This is gonna be a pretty.
Use fire rod. Oh, see, he's not using his bow here to kill. I think he's gonna go for the boss kill, because he seems to try to like save his arrows. Right, there's a big key for Swamp Palace, which is not the best one.
It is certainly not a locking big key. However, given the fact we haven't actually really explored Swamp, you know, it's certainly nicer to have that big key sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's definitely like nice to have when you go into Swamp Palace, especially if like Ice Rod is in the big chest.
Oh yeah, that's right. Chances are we're probably going to be also hunting, you know, for an Ice Rod this seed as well. Yeah, looks like those Wisdrobes, though, kind of getting into Daze's way a little bit. Had to kind of pause before he can light the last torch. Smirk, though, has found well, at least an accessible connector into Paradox Cave. Did you just see how the way that he dodged those mini Moldorfs? Like, he took no damage.
Yeah, it's sometimes you just gotta believe that everything is gonna work out.
Alright, so this is going to be really good news for him. While he still doesn't really have the health to spare, you know, he is going to be able to pick up his 7 items here in Paradox Cave, most specifically his boots.
Yeah, the boots is going to be really nice to have for the rest of the seed. Alright, so we got a compass there in Meyer, so not too many, like, impactful...
And a mirror!
Dang, that's...
So Meyer was definitely the next step of...
There's a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah, you know, it looks like even, you know, Daze was actually playing Meyer a bit more conservatively. Like, he was waiting for the fire snake. I think he just really wanted to make sure that he survives, to make sure he preserves his health, at least for the spike room. And
it's kind of funny. He's like avoiding damage everywhere, and then he comes into the spike room, and he's like, "Should I use the blue key? No, I'm just gonna tank for hard."
All right, so he does have a blue potion to his name. He ended up picking up earlier. And and he has a full magic bar with him. Health is not, you know, the most comforting thing right now. That is probably going to be the one that he does have to be a bit careful of.
That was a sick throw with being like swordless, so he couldn't like use the sword to double check his position.
Yeah, it looks like he is not taking any chances. I mean, so at this point, I don't think there's anything specific that will kill him in one shot in the basement, but you know, as we see, there are many things that can hit him that each do 100 damage, and especially the fact that you can't see yourself, that damage can come pretty fast and furious. Oh, that looks like Smirk though. He has found the upgrade fairy.
Yeah, he found his way up to the mountain. I didn't see actually which entrance led there. I'm thinking it might have been the back of the old man though. Because that's like the one connector is close to that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay, Paradox was one of them. Yeah, I guess that's true. We only did see 2 of the Paradox entrances. And Daze did use that blue potion just so he can't get one shot here on the boss fight.
No, that totally
like he should
makes sense.
be safe, but like it's kind of sad if you just take a quick hit and you have to redo this.
Yeah, it's just like you said, Walter, he took 0 damage, those silver arrows were super helpful, and he has powder! Alright, that's just gonna be a really nice safety, and he's gonna be able to check magic that we saw earlier on Smirk's side. But yeah, you know, like, if you're on one-hit KO mode, especially you don't have the lamp, you have no sword in order to get back here, you pretty much, you know, take a lot of resources just to get through the dark basement. If you end up dying, like, that is just such a time waste. Oh man, with that mirror though, he's gonna be super efficient. You know, just gonna be able to check light and dark world together.
Yeah, that and the boots is gonna make this dark world, well, the rest of the dark world that he's gonna check a lot more efficient.
Yeah, and Daze is gonna be able to turn in that mushroom with very high confidence, right? He just picked up the powder from Vitreous. And so he doesn't have to worry about like safe coming a mushroom at all.
So I haven't really seen too much good up on the mountain yet. We do have another connector here, so there might be multiple ways to get up the mountain. See where this one takes us. Oh, well,
one of them
okay, maybe not the most...
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not the best connector to have.
You know, at least we are, you know, we have found our useless connectors, so we never have to visit them ever again.
See if Daze remembers to pick up the... Yeah, he stayed a little bit extra in that maze just to make sure that Kiki is gonna follow him.
Yeah, yeah. What often happens, right, is you have your iframes when you come out of the mirror portal, and Kiki apparently doesn't recognize you when you're invincible. He only can exploit you when you're vulnerable. yeah,
makes sense.
Ooh, okay. So, speaking of more accessible locations within Turtle Rock, we have found knowledge that as soon as we check it, whether Turtle Rock's going to be a crystal or a pendant.
That was a pretty fun place to have the Turtle Rock map, I think. We do have the big key, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to open that big chest. So we can also check what's behind the big door here.
Yeah, I think at least even according to Dave's side, we're still looking for a permanent weapon of some sort. You know, it could even be a hook shot at this point. You know, we really have nothing that does like physical damage. Looks like Smirk, though, finally able to kind of stretch his legs out in the overworld. He is actually going to be able to check some bootstock locations.
Yeah, he explored the mountain a bit there. Didn't really find too many great stuff up there, but he's just gonna check the rest down here, and we'll see if he maybe takes a trip into the Dark World after that as well. Definitely seems to be the right place to be right now with that mirror, and that mirror could probably lead us to some more progression.
Yeah, we're still also looking for the dam, right? Because we did find Swamp Palace early. We have clippers like from very early on. Well, I guess we still don't have a small key, so we can't really explore Swamp all that much. But you know, once we find the dam and flood it, that first chest in Swamp is also a logic.
Yeah, we haven't really seen any
Turtle Rock, yeah.
anything from that book quite yet. But we do have access to check it in, like head into the desert entrance, and with that mirror, Daze will be able to not get what's on the tablets, but at least see what's on them.
No, right, yeah. We're still looking for a sword.
We're gonna get this big key here on the island as well.
That's right, yeah. Dave's remembering that there was a mystery big key too.
Ooh, wow. Great.
Yeah,
I mean,
course.
at least it's nice to have before you go to Skullwoods, but yeah, it could have been better.
Yeah, no, I mean, so certainly, I guess we have a couple of good big keys to our name, right? We did find the big key to Mara, which I guess gave us gave us a powder. Did it give us? Forgot what was in the big chest already, but it was certainly very useful in that it got us some pretty good progression. We have big key to Turtle Rock, which most likely will be used, but also we've got some our fetch quest big keys, right? We got our Skullwoods big key, got our Swamp big key. Dave's also remembering that all three locations here, we have a cape in order to get into the middle place. Also, Dave's knowing where to mirror in order to not mirror bonk. This is a side of a good CrossKeys runner.
Yeah, that's a pretty good location. Because if you mirror at the top, partly you would have to like walk on the stairs a bit extra, which takes time. And it's also like when you walk out of the entrance there in the middle, it's quite likely you just jump back into the portal again.
Yeah, so it looks like, though, we are going to be further in the dark about that middle connector. Maybe Dave's recognized which one it was, but at least the other two are pretty useless, so...
Yeah, this is the way up to Death Mountain, because he jumped down from a ledge, and there's that's the only one you can do it in. So he's actually going to be able to rescue the old man and also explore top of Death Mountain here. He's going to be able to do a little bit more than Smirk did with having that mirror and book.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. We can actually get up to potentially some more entrances with that mirror. It's going to be super nice. Oh, looks like Smirk is going to actually chase the book. We're going to be able to explore a little bit more in...
Oh, that's a good big key.
That is.
And that's a big key. Smirk actually didn't get that one when he was up on Death Mountain. So I don't think he saved the old man. He is going to see what's behind Desert Palace here, though. It's going to be the first time we see this entrance. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good knowledge. We haven't found the dam yet, so he can't really do anything here yet, but it's definitely good knowledge to have.
This is also the post-hints era. You know, before I think people, you know, were also, you know, like there was a little bit more incentive for you to find the dam before you flooded, because you know without flippers you couldn't, like like without flippers you couldn't read the hints anymore. But hints are off this season, so.
I think you can actually read the hint without flooding it. I think it's just the normal stairs up to that entrance, but the other one you need flippers for.
Okay. I don't quite remember. It's been such a long time.
yeah, hints are complicated. I have a complicated relationship with hints.
You know, you're not the only one, Walter, as far as I can tell. But yeah, actually, with that big key, the Eastern Palace, though, that is going to be another potentially complete. That's going to be a fully completable dungeon on Dazed side. We don't have the lamp yet, of course, you know, but lamp logic is merely a suggestion at this point.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We can't beat this yet because we don't have a small key and we also don't have a sword. But yeah, it's good to know. Oh, okay, so we do have the small key. Oh god, we keep getting on the bad big keys.
Yeah, alright, so I think is that all of our fetch quest big keys though at this point?
I guess you could count maybe Gannis Tower's big key as one as well.
Oh man, yeah, that's true. That's the CrossKeys dream, right? Because you never have to touch GT basement or
yeah.
GT for that matter.
Oh, I got a hookshot cave here though. We don't have the hookshot, but we can get one chest and logic, and you could hover the rest of them, but I don't think Dazed is gonna go for that.
Yeah, looks like he's not interested. Meanwhile, though, looks like Smirk, though, remembering that he has a fire rod and a Canis Maria, and we found the front of Turtle Rock. Gonna be able to explore a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a shield. Let's see what's over on the fire rod side, and wow, these connectors are just like pretty wild right now.
It's like almost right next door.
Yeah.
We did see
so he gets
that...
like another chance to get a sword here now. Get back to Skullwoods.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did see that the hookshot cave connector, you know, was Quake. So we're probably at least that's not going to be necessary for the seed. Meanwhile, though, Daze found Castle Tower here up in Dark Death Mountain. So he's going to be able to... So yeah, it looks like he's got his fire rod out. So he's probably going to brave at least the dark rooms for the second chest.
Yeah, it makes sense. You just try and get these out of the way when you're here, so you don't have to come back for this. It does have the mirror too, so I can use like mirror out instead of taking a death warp. Because it can be a little bit awkward to take a death warp here in the dark. Looks like we didn't really get anything good in Turtle Rock though, unfortunately. I guess we've seen everything in Turtle Rock now except for the boss.
Yes, you're right, because I think Daze at some point also did Chomps. That was the last chest, and I don't think it was anything useful. That looks like Smirk, though, wants to go further, but he does not have any more Turtle Rock monkeys, so he's gonna be done for now.
We're gonna find out what's on the tablet. Most of the times, it's actually good not to have Master Sword when you get here, because things like this. Most of the times, it's not something you need, and you can just write it off faster. You don't have to get the animation before knowing it's something you don't need.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the dam, though.
Yeah, this is gonna be good for Daze for sure. Yep, super useful, but most importantly, with the fact that we're gonna be able to flood the dam means that we're gonna have a little bit more access into Swamp Palace. And we're also going to be able to see the flooded item when he eventually makes his way back down the South Shore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of it's gonna be pretty nice because like you get the flooded item on the way to Desert, and then in Desert you have like
that's true.
Swamp Palace.
we're still looking for that sword, right? Or a sword? I hear there are 4 of them in the pool, right? Something like that?
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay.
Normally. We don't know about this one. It should be 4.
Maybe we made an exception for days.
Yeah, we actually like, Oh, here's Ganon's Tower.
We've got some indecision here. Looks like Daze wants to... I guess he's going to be locked out of the left side pretty soon. Oh, what a nice find, though, right before he goes and visits right side. I think those are slashes of happiness. He is very happy to see a sword at the post-hour mark.
Yeah. I mean, now that he has that sword, he's Sarmos.
Yeah, and I imagine he's going to also sit here and do Talon as well. For a very, very common thing to see in CrossKeys. Ooh, though, meanwhile, though, Smirk, with his Desert Palace big key and his fire source, which is the fire rod, he's going to take on Landmo.
Well, he's about to get a little bit disappointed here. I don't think he has the big key.
Oh no, oh no! Oh, that is so sad.
Yeah, I just realized it now as well because it was the Hera big key he got earlier.
That's right.
It's kind of rude, like back of desert, because you don't get that knowledge until you're like all the way over there. And wow, that's a hook shot in time room.
That is a hook shot indeed. So now we that's a convenient big magic.
Yeah, I wish the MSU just automatically switches to like the hook music when you find that, but it doesn't look like it's smart enough to do that. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Alright, so we're gonna just put that as feedback as the MSU creator. Oh no! Oh, that is a really unfortunate Gibdo there. I think it kind of knocked Daze into like on the right side, and now we're seeing how many slashes it takes to kill a Gibdo with a fighter sword.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just fire at them or use a silver to kill them, because like he doesn't really need to worry too much about his arrow count going into ice armors because of the silvers. Like he can get at the very least 10 for free on the way, and now he got another 10 from that chest.
You know, Walter, if I picked up my first sword at the 65-minute mark, I'm gonna use it as much as I possibly can.
I guess that's a fair point.
This is such a great trap for this dungeon. He is ready to take on anything that he finds in this dungeon. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Smirk has decided to come back into Ice Palace. Hopefully he's going to take his revenge onto the Pen Gators. He unfortunately does not have a sword in order to be able to use the Quake Medallion on. But he has significantly more health to his name at this point.
Yeah, he's a lot safer this time around.
Yeah, it looks like a very fortunate big magic drop from the Pen Gators. Looks like potentially a vanilla price pack from them. It means that he's going to be able to fire rod shot them to death.
Yeah, it does have the Cane of Samaria, so could go for the Icebreaker here. Also has a small key already, so he's like guaranteed not to get like locked out by doing that, even though he doesn't have hammer yet.
So I think it looks like Daze finished up everything he possibly could, at least in GT Basement. We found 2 consecutive pot smalls in behind Ice Armos. So maybe that's also another option, for the hammer to be. Speaking
of hammer, Smirk is gonna have to be careful here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he had to like back away to not get hit by that bomb, but then like that hit him into a Pen Gator instead. So that's. So they get that hookshot from Ganon's Tower, being able to utilize it to get back to the other part of Death Mountain here. So he's going to be able to go to the top here and take the portal and then take care of not Swamp Palace, but Skullwoods.
Yeah, it's not oftentimes you get to see the hookshot going from right to left. It's really just mainly just going to be an interesting.
Yeah, it can be a little bit awkward to go from the right to left because you have to pass by the either pass by the dead rocks or like just jump down and climb up the stairs again.
Looks like Smirk wants to keep going into Ice Palace. Maybe he just wants the magic, but he definitely does not have the hammer in order to go Peephole Stair. Looks like Daze, though, is having a bit of a Gibdo party.
Yeah. So Fire Rod is good to have in here. But with Fighter Sword and like low magic going in here, would you say that this is like the bare necessities to beat this dungeon?
Oh, Walter! I think Daze needs a bit more than just the bare necessities here, though. Does he even have enough?
Oh, he does have a potion now. I'm surprised he didn't use that earlier.
Oh, he found a potion shop. That's right. Oh, I totally forgot about that. Oh, but he didn't end up turning in a mushroom beforehand, right? I guess he never got really an opportunity to, so we are not going to be able to see what was there. But yeah, so at least drinking that potion was a very, very good decision because he is going to be able to have a bunch of fire rod shots. Hopefully they were going to land at some point though. Fighter Sword though, Mopula is 16 hits, assuming all 16 are going to land. You can of course sword spin for 2 out of the 16, but
yeah, he has to be a little bit careful here because he took a lot of damage quite early. But got quite a few of the fire rod shots in at the very least. But you're going for spins, which is kind of dangerous because it's really easy to take hits.
Oh man! So,
yeah,
so he does have. At least.
Okay, this is the desperate strat here, and B saves him.
That is clutch. MVP, man. I mean, Daze should go find, he should just go and catch beasts and just release them onto the wild. Wow. Paying off with looks like in his first pendant, of course. But man, that bee coming in so clutch.
Yeah, that was pretty scary for a while. Unfortunately, he didn't really get much for it. Got a pendant and what was it, 10 arrows or something like that?
It's not something like that. So he does, at least we have a bit more knowledge to our name. We did find out, of course, the hard way that it is a pendant, unfortunately not a crystal, but it just means that there's going to be more crystals out there for us to get. Feels good to be able to dash with the sword and not have to worry about the mini mold arms in the way.
Yeah, that's the good life.
All right, yeah. Daze is making his way over to Hookshot Cave, which after he picked it up from Ganon's Tower tile room, we're gonna open up to.
It can utilize it right away. Not only can he activate the flute to get some fast travel, but we do have the myths, which will let him into the Maya area.
Yeah, and so far, we haven't seen any connector that leads over there on both runners' sides, so potentially this actually could be required.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of Meyer.
He seems to be chaining not dungeon, but item caves into item caves here. Getting quite a few maps now, so might actually do a map check soon, potentially. Yeah, it's still kind of irrelevant, because no matter what crystals you need to beat, you still need quite a few items no matter what still.
Yeah, but I think at this point, so we know that Green Pendant is Thief's Den, which we still haven't, I think, gotten any big keys to. The bomb shop guy either So we don't actually know what our 5/6 is, but hopefully we're going to get a bit more information.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like a quick map check could just show him where the last pendant is, and then he can like use that knowledge to find out what all the rest of the crystals are.
Alright, so we saw that one of our fetch quest big keys did not pay off. I think it was just 3 bombs or something. But at least he's got the peace of mind coming up here into Skullwoods. Oh, alright, so Daze also having the key to Samaria is going to make the statue room a heck of a lot easier as well. We're chaining all of these maps. I mean, they're just coming at us fast and furious.
It's gonna be able to shake the back of Skullwoods here as well with the fire road, so that's always nice to not isolate that. It's also nice that Skullwoods gave you a like nice layout here, so we can actually just go to the front and back pretty easily.
Is Daze gonna do what the fans are asking for? So this is gonna be probably his last foray into this area, light and dark potentially. He's gonna be able to, with that mirror and book, check what's on the pedestal.
Oh. Okay, so maybe logically required. If there's something good like in Zelda's chest or Boomerang chest.
Oh man, that would be that might be a bit painful. But yeah, suffice to say, we're not going to be coming back to this area.
I would say, like, if this was one of those seeds where you use that, like you stole the small key early, and then you read that on pad, like that's when you started to really sweat.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, the fact that Daze also picked up the big key earlier on, right? Nothing in this area is going to be useful to him anymore. He is going to get these last couple chests.
Also a little bit disappointed. Like normally, I'm not like on the big hype train of wanting PED to be something required. It would have been fun to see though. I kind of wanted to hear what the music was for PED.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right. We're really lacking. We want more musical content.
So we got a lamp out of Skull, getting so much use out of this mirror.
Yeah, and not only we're seeing Daze be very efficient, right? He knows where to mirror in order to not balk.
I think
just more maps.
I think we're getting like the majority of the maps by now. Yeah, I was about to say this would be like the ideal situation to do a map check when you're in the light world and then you head into dark world and you can do a second map check real quick. So it looks like Pod is our last pendant. Swamp is one of the 5/6. We don't know which the other one is, but at least now they have full information about all the crystals.
Yeah, and so potentially we may not need a pod big key, which actually, it certainly could be one of those, one of those keys that really elude runners from these seeds.
Oh, there's a small key, so that's really good before you head over to that area, which he probably will after activating the flute. Unfortunately, it's still no hammer though.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good point. So we have 2 chests now. We can check and swap.
Is it gonna go back in? Yep. See what that second 5/6 is. It's Desert Palace.
Desert. Okay.
And,
we are still, we're still missing that big key.
Realizing he doesn't have that sword yet. But it does have the boots, so isn't he? Actually, doesn't have the mirror though, so won't be able to get over to Genna's tower. Because he's gonna take the connector over here to put himself on top of Bumper Cave, but you have to mirror there in order to get to Hookshot Cave, which leads to the other part of Death Mountain. So that's a little bit unfortunate here.
Yeah, has he found Meyer yet?
No, I think Meyer was over in like the pod area.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because we saw Daze also kind of rescue Kiki in the vicinity as well. Okay.
Yeah, Smirk
yeah.
hasn't actually done a lot of the Dark World yet. But this will probably put him on the path of starting clearing the Dark World. But it will be without the mirrors, will be kind of inefficient compared to what Daze have been able to do.
Yeah, and I mean, with that big key though, he just found the Ice Palace. I mean, that might lead him back over to Ice Palace, because I think he was trying to clear that dungeon. But and of course, you know, from Daze's side, we know that it's going to be a crystal, but he was not successful.
Yeah, still doesn't have the hammer though. So
that's right. Yeah, that's true.
Might not try and get back there quite so soon.
Alright, so we found the other side of Bumper Cave on Smirk's side. We know that both invisibility items are actually in the Dark World Shopping Mall area, where Hype Cave was on Daze's side. So we're, I mean, at least it's not going to be useful, and not going to be like a terribly like important connector.
Yeah. Oh, there's another sword here.
Yeah. Oh, Daze is so happy. They'll see finally a second sword.
That sword is locked behind Pet. Just saying.
That is true. You are absolutely correct, Monty. Maybe there's going to be a third sword down here. You know, we never had two swords, you know, behind the pedestal. What do you think?
Yeah, and then like you have another sword on Bomba's tablet would make Pet logically required. Small key to Meyer. Okay, that's less exciting.
Yeah,
especially for Daze to already full cleared Meyer.
I mean, yeah, it might have some like technical, you know, logical implications, right? You can't, you know, of course, clear Meyer without all the small keys, but
if there's something in Swamp Pal's big chest, then that key was required, which means Pet was logically required.
But we certainly got our bounties worth. Picking up a Master Sword, we certainly still do need two swords in order to finish the game. We would really like to be able to see a third one, just to make our Ganon fight a bit easier. But, you know, I think at this point, Dazed is probably very familiar with how to do Master Sword silvers at this point.
Yeah, but how much you normally have to clear in order to, like, get go mode in this mode, it ends up being quite likely you get at least Tempered Sword. I feel like it's more common to have Gold Sword in this mode than like in normal open mode.
Yeah, that is certainly true, especially coming off of the main tournament, right? I think runners, you know, are just getting, you know, slowly more accustomed to be able to have that fourth sword, right?
Yeah, you're definitely correct about that part. You're way more likely to get Gold Sword in this mode than in the main mode.
Speaking of potentially more things, Daze actually has his silvers out on the Y screen, so this is going to be another thing that hard item pool is not going to be able to have, which is Silver Arrow. So his Armos fight towards the back is going to be pretty good. Yeah,
this is going to be one of the fastest boss fights in the game.
And he managed to pick up a lamp right in Stillwood, so of course all this is, you know, fully in logic, but also you can, you know, actually just see in the dark rooms.
This boss fight, like, we saw how fast he took care of Vitreous, and this is like Vitreous easy mode, because the targets are bigger and they're not attacking you, and they're not gonna like one-shot you either.
Plus, you already had, you know, practice with them being in Ganon's Tower in the basement, right, on ice, so, you know, the fact that they're just, you know, you don't have to slip around, slide around anywhere, means that your life is even easier.
Alright, so Smirk heading back into the Dark World here. Does have the flippers, so does have like logical access over to the pod area where Meyer is. See if it decides to go there or not. Probably more tempting to like head into Outcast area.
Did you just see what Smirk did? He released the bee. I don't know. I mean, you know, he doesn't have a friend anymore in the clutch fight against Mothula.
I think it was like a strat to get the bee to attack the bird when he was jumping down. To like knock the bird away so he wouldn't take damage. Alright, here comes the Armors fight. Oh! We're gonna see 8 arrows.
Arrows.
So we do get a big key. To Ganon's Tower. Okay, now every big key we find except for Thieves Town and Pod is good. Okay, so I guess we actually have every big key we need except for Desert.
Yeah, so potentially. I mean, yeah, and hopefully, you know, we're just never gonna have to see those other big keys, you know, Pod and Thieves, because that just means we have to go further into a pendant dungeon that we potentially, you know, it's just like gonna be another wild goose chase for us.
So unfortunately, Smirk went into Skullwoods from the wrong side here. Like you can do a lot here, but you can't do anything that's worth of value. There's no entrances up here, which is kind of unfortunate because that just means this is a place like you never need to go in any mode. So it's kind of cool that we got to see a bit of that, because Skullwoods is a lot bigger than people might think, just because we only see such a small part of it. Be pretty nice for him to see. We'll have to go steal that small key before he can open that up, though.
Oh, that's true. So, but he just needs to drop down into the pinball room, right?
Yeah. He's safe to just steal the key here because he did have one more key that he already used for the back of Skullwoods.
Oh,
so, like,
right.
he won't need that when he comes back.
He does have to be a bit careful. At least he's entered the dungeon itself. So if he ends up taking a death here, he's just going to be able to refill his health and come back pretty quickly. Hopefully he's going to be able to pick up this map though before he death warps out. Okay. Meanwhile though, looks like Dazed is actually back in Palace of Darkness. Potentially he just wants to maybe explore a little bit more before heading back over to Ice. I mean, yeah, he's got more options here, like it's more item dislocations without the hammer. So certainly very reasonable. More compasses. Of course, with the lamp now, we're going to be able to, you know, see what's in at least the pod basement. Picking up, looks like just enough money for potentially Zora.
Yeah,
we haven't seen the whole game.
Yeah, we did have access logically to Zora like super early. I think gloves were like back of a tavern or something like that. A lot of hearts here in Backup Pod.
Yeah, health would have been, you know, pretty nice early on, but I don't think at this point they're going to turn any extra health down. I think Daze does have an armor upgrade though, so he should be sitting okay. Yeah, looks like he also did want to take the loop over. Probably didn't want to do the hammer jump from the top. Certainly a little bit less familiar for some runners in order to set up. And of course, if you end up not succeeding on this hammer jump the first time, and you come from the bottom, you're going to be able to start from a familiar place as opposed to the top, where you kind of have to like go back down the stairs in order to try and reset the room again.
Oh, he's barely missing that hammer jump here. Just gonna retry it because auto keys at the moment, and if he finds one more key, probably wanna make sure to be able to have that to go to Helma instead of opening up the dark maze here. Even though probably doesn't want to do Helma because it's a pendant, but like sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do to get your items.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes the game doesn't give you a choice, right? If it's required, you just have to take it. And yeah, you know, as you said, Walter, like if you have to do Helma, you really want to be. You don't want to be in a position where you're lacking that last small key, right? You gotta just search like the rest of the world for a pod small of all things.
Yeah. Yeah, at least when you're like you have a couple of okay, nice red design there next to the purple chest guy. But yeah, you have like multiple ways of saving some keys in pod. So already opened up the main door, which means that like in order to full clear pod, you would need to have at least 5. If he opens up the dark maze as well, you would need all of them at that point. Alright, so we're in the Maya area now. Was a while ago since Daze found the mirror or the flute to get over here. But with the mirror, it's going to be able to check Swamp on the way here, as well as quite a few other things that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so we do see that that one entrance is also quick, which I think Dazed also picked up in Mini Moldorm Cave, right? So he's at least going to be able to not have to isolate this entrance as well.
There's a Swamp small for Smirk, and he does know where Swamp is, but doesn't have access to the dam yet because no mirror.
Yeah. I mean, I think Dazed at some point mirrored when he found the dam up in, I think it's Tower of Hera. So, yeah, no hammer, no hook shot for Smirk means that we don't have access quite yet. Yeah, it looks like Daze just wants to be a little bit more thorough, checking out the rest of the entrances. Presumably he might also go check checkerboard at some point, or maybe he'll just dive right into Swamp, which looks like exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, looks like it. Like, this is not... Normally you would be trapped doing this, because, like, the blocks is gonna, like, lock you in. But it does have the flute, so, like, no matter what, you can just float away after this.
Right. Hey, are you watching what Smirk is doing? And this he is going to be able to pick up, hopefully he's going to pick up his sword. His first sword at the hour and 30 mark.
I mean, better late than never to get the sword. Speaking of...
Speaking of a sword, oh man.
Wow, there's been one in the first chest this entire time. That's kind of awkward.
Well, you know, at least Daze for the rest of the game, he's going to be on temper, which is super nice. And just red mail, and also really nice safety, especially when we have the mirror, so no worries about death warping. But
yeah. So 2 out of our 3 swords so far has required you to dip into Mire before being able to get them. Probably all of them, honestly, logically, with that small key on pad as well.
oh, hey, we remember. Daze remember that we still have not got Moldorm. Alright, so with a newfound hook shot, looks like we're going to take an alternate, faster way up the tower.
Yep, I'm gonna set up for the hairpot here. He's doing this a little bit of a, like, just on feeling. And he has a lot of feeling.
Yeah, we got there eventually.
Yeah, this is still quite fast because, like, he doesn't even need a chest, so you can just go straight up from here.
Oh yeah, that is true. We've already, you know, full cleared this place out of, I think it's not very important contents, but he is able to take down Moldorm now with Temper Sword, no less. Yeah, spin and a slash. This is one dead worm. Oh man, and actually it looks like Smirk, another just a consequence of not being able to visit Mire earlier. He does not have to be, so it looks like he's actually going to run out. Or walk out.
Yep. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. So we only got a compass from that boss fight, but we also got a crystal, which is a little bit better than a compass.
Just a little.
Yeah, I mean, depends on what game mode, right? Most game modes, crystals tends to be a little bit more important than compasses.
Mean, you know, yeah, if you're playing bingo, right? You know that compass could actually be more valuable than a crystal. All depends on what your goals are.
Yeah, imagine if, like, there was a small percentage of a chance that, like, every CrossKey seed you do just happens to be a bingo race instead.
Oh man, that would be rough.
Okay, so Smirk took one of the exits in Hyrule Castle, puts him out on the pyramid. This is actually better than it might seem, because partly now he knows he's not gonna have to do the big bomb later. And we also know that this puts him in a pretty good position to be able to get over to Mire as well, to get that mirror.
Yeah, he may not know that this is a good thing, that he can't go back, but because, you know, the game is kind of, in this case, like leading him on to a better direction. And thankfully, of course, he did find the sword in Hyrule Castle, so he's at least gonna have a bit more safety, in terms of defense and offense against the Dark World enemies. Like, he's gonna be able to actually dash with these guys. Ooh, this might be a catfish visit, potentially? Do you think he's going to do the archery game, Walter?
No, it looks. I think he was just checking his his map. Just double check some of the notes he has.
He does need to be a bit careful in the overworld, though.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything is doing like 2 hearts of damage to him.
Should be safe from here, but there is a trip back as well. He actually did go for the bush there, and then that stone also has a chance of dropping heart, so you got one of them.
Yeah, for more seasoned
Is this a
energy
refill?
runners. Not quite, yeah.
Oof.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's a rough hit to take.
Yeah, that Ropa though is like everything about this game for Ropas is just that if you get lotteried, you're just sad, and it just happens to be he's only on 2 hearts too.
Yeah, they're a little bit unpredictable sometimes.
Meanwhile, though, looks like Dazed is taking the Light World counterpart. Having already visited Catfish, we're going to visit the other friendly fish, and hopefully gonna get something more useful. And of course, just based on how much Dazed has explored and gotten, he got the red mail from Swamp Palace, he got the blue mail from somewhere, I think, Janet's Tower basement. He is like just so much more defensive.
Yeah.
He doesn't really worry about health.
Yeah, in terms of like number of hearts, it doesn't look to be like that big of a difference, but it's like a really big difference with that red mail against most of the enemies.
So I'm actually not sure which fish was least or lesser useful, because just saw a single rupee come out of Zora, and we saw hard peas that gave neither runner a refill from Catfish.
Let's see. One of them were free. The other one costed 499 rupees.
You bring up a very excellent point, Walter. So about that hammer, we're still looking, right?
Yeah, I mean at this point you might as well just hope to have hammer go mode, because we're really only looking for hammer, ice rod, and biggie for desert.
That's true.
On the DazedCloud side here.
Yeah, and hammer actually is locking quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
It's locking most of Swamp Palace. For Desert Palace Big Key is just really locking the boss. And we know that in this case 5-6 crystals and with Pyramid Fairy is, as you saw, smercjd is pretty useless. So it's not a real rush.
It's a couple of locations automatically. But if you know hammer's your go mode, then it doesn't matter that you ice like that, because you're never gonna have to check it. There is like still awkward stuff with that, because like you could still dip a lot of dungeons without the hammer without completing them, which is kind of not fun. But I mean, it's better than full clearing the entire game most of the times.
Yeah, alright, so speaking of a place that potentially we would have liked to maybe not have swords in order to read the tablet, right? Because Bombo's animation is actually the longest out of all 3 medallions. In this case, we just got some money. It's not necessarily bad, per se, in that we can buy some more potions with it, if we need it, but maybe, red mail, 14 hearts on day side. Probably, it's not like the highest of priorities.
Yes, I think like we're kind of starting to run out of a couple of like we don't have that much left that could potentially have progression. We did we get the big key for Gannis Tower? Yeah, we did. So we could actually climb that. We still have 2 items unencounterable for in Gannis in Ice Palace. We did find a Ice Rod here though.
Oh,
That opens up Trinix as well, and it's really nice to like not have that as your go mode as well.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, it's just we were talking, right? Like that is such a sight for sore eyes because you know so Ice Rod opens up exactly one thing, which is in this case Trinix. For all we know, Trinix might have the Desert Palace big key, right? And it's certainly not gonna be something you have to search the world for.
Yeah, and Daze is gonna go for it right away. Don't think he did a front of Turtlerock yet either, so he's going to be able to just clear the boss here, and then we'll put him at the front of Turtlerock so he can clear that as well. Oh, actually, he did do the front, so...
I think he, at some point, at least took a peek, and yeah. Because, you know, thanks to actually, you know, one of those compasses actually being useful. You know, for us as viewers, we know that there is only the one thing left on Trinix. Yeah,
so then there you see, like, it's just a definition question about the value, like... Dazed wants the crystals, and we want all the compasses.
Alright, so, you know, Dazed, having picked up Temper Sword from Swamp Palace is going to be a much comfier fight for him than as compared to having only Master Sword, especially with no half magic as well. Opting to not do Backdoor Stress, but looks like he's still got. Actually, was that 1 or was that maybe 2? Either way, he's on phase 2 already. So. So Smart found his way up to Floating Island. I don't think there was anything useful there. But this is kind of another one of those things where maybe it would be nice to if he had a mirror.
Yeah, this should... No, still no mirror, so still can't get into Gannis Tower from here. Alright, so Daze, where are you gonna go from here? It's gonna flute, and I would be guessing like Gannis Tower is something that might not be at the top of Dazed list, but probably not too far down from the top.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of item locations, that is looking pretty appealing, right? We also don't have very much access left into, you know, he's gotten pretty much everything he can get out of Pod. We have not seen any amount of Thief's Town big keys, so we can't get to the back either. You know, where else can we search? Oh, meanwhile though, Smirk finding his way over to Castle Tower, he is going to be able, oh, that was a nice full magic refill too. Yeah. He's going to be able to actually see what's in the Dark Maze and, you know, actually see what his path is to get to 5 rupees.
So Daze, did he skip this one before?
Has he been here before? Looks like he has not seen the... I guess maybe he never did his North Dark World loop. Because the Smirk was definitely here before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an easy one to forget about.
Yeah, but I think, right, so like he at least did confirm the other side of Bumper Cave, so I don't think he's going to have to worry about that connector anymore. Oh man, looks like Smirk though he's going to try and Death Warp out of here, out of Castle Tower. This is, man, I mean, we're just really pulling for him to go to Mire and pick up his mirror. Like, Death Warping on this many hearts, especially when all the enemies do half a heart of damage.
Yeah, the lack of mirror is definitely hurting, and like the lack of hammer also makes it like a lot harder to get over there.
Looks like Smirk has also found his way over to the potion shop. He turned in that mushroom super early, just got 10 arrows from his troubles. Looks like he's opting to not buy any. Did he buy a potion, actually?
I don't think so, but I could definitely be wrong.
Yeah, I also didn't think that he bought one, but apparently I've just forgotten what happened 10 seconds ago.
And let's see, Daze is taking this portal. Makes me think that maybe he's gonna check something out in the Dark World here first, and then maybe head for like a mirror into like an Ice Palace play here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ice Palace was definitely over here, so...
Yeah, and Daze haven't seen anything in Ice Palace yet.
Oh yeah, that's true. We went over here all the way on his side. He was here earlier, maybe at like the 10-minute mark or something, with 3 hearts and the fire rod, at least with a full bar of magic. And he said, I'm gonna come back later. With 14 hearts and red mail and hookshot and silver arrows and 9 bombs to his name, Daze is gonna be okay. And he's got powder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can do icebreaker as well here. Have like all of the keys, so doesn't really need to worry about that part. Can even like skip hitting the switch here because have like all of the small keys and the big key.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did pick up. We did pick up an early big key to Ice Palace. So this is also going to be another one of those checks where I think Smirk, when he came in here, he did not have, so he wasn't able to check.
So yeah, we haven't seen Ice Tea in here, and we haven't seen the big chest. That's the 2 chests that could have the hammer chest. That's the 2 chests that could have the hammer. And then the big key could, of course, be in here as well, behind like the hammer locked locations.
We definitely feel the appealingness of finding a hammer in Ice Palace, of course.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna go for the bomb stress here. Does have the hook shot, so could have skipped that actually, but it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so nothing in the big chest.
Yeah,
so we have
1 of 2.
Yeah, we have 1 more here. Then we have the climb of Ganon's tower, and then I'm honestly a little bit unsure what else we have open at the moment.
Yeah, at least having lack of hammer, at least for the time being, means that once we go back eventually to GT, which looks like we're potentially going to go do, we are still locked out of the left side, right? So it just means we're going to have to climb.
Yeah, and I think it's might be the useless fairy in the pyramid, so it would only be 4 items at the top, but I'm not 100% about that one.
Okay, yeah, that's I think you're right, because we haven't seen that drop down yet, and we've already found Ganon, so.
Mm-hmm. I think it has to be either the useless fairy or
Smirk dropped down. It was at Sanctuary, and he dropped down for 20 rupees.
Okay. Yeah, then it has to be the useless fairy. So that means like after getting Moldorm chest, he could use like mirror out instead of continuing.
I mean, I guess unless he really wants to fight Agatu or something for practice. Or if he wants a warp back to the pyramid. Unlikely, of course, but you know, these things are things that can happen. Speaking of, yeah, so remember when we were trying to find the hammer? Yeah, it turns out you can't actually go through hammer pegs without the hammer.
Oh yeah, I was like, what is Zace doing? But yeah, this makes sense.
He was really hoping that the hammer just magically appeared in his inventory again, unfortunately.
But wasn't Ganon's tower like at the bottom of East Mountain?
Yes. I think he wanted to go over on the top, right? And it looks like and now I guess he's just going to take the connector, because I think this also spit him out on the right side, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe he's maybe he has like a entrance as well that he haven't checked yet, and he would wants to check on the way of dropping down. So we have both of our runners taking this connector here.
Yeah, not often you get to see two runners in the exact same locations.
Yeah. It ends here though, because they're both taking it for different reasons. Smirk doesn't have like normal access into the Dark World yet, so this has been his main way of going into the Dark World. I think that maybe like he forgot about the one at the Lake Hylia area, because I think that would have been faster most of the times. Depending on where in the Dark World he wants to go, of course.
This was a lot of work just to get back over here on Daze's side. It only took like 5 connectors over.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the last thing Dazed have open right now, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some kind of progression up here.
So meanwhile, Smirk though has found Eastern Palace. He does not have the big key, but he at least has the lamp, so he's going to be able to comfortably get 4 items out of here.
Yep.
And, luckily, of course, for Daze, not that he probably needs it, but, just having boots, having Temper Sword is just going to make the gauntlet super, super nicer. I mean, so bootsless gauntlet is always just going to be a terrible pain. But, even having, Master Sword versus Temper Sword is actually going to make quite a difference. Most enemies die with 1 slash with Temper Sword. Speaking of, that was actually really nice gear in Ball Z on Daze's side, reading the RNG properly in order to get a single dash through without having to stop.
Yep. Daze going with some fire rod shots here to take care of the Stalfos. It's like
Walter, Daze already visited Magic Bat, and yet he has no half magic. Like, what have you been telling me?
Yeah, that's I guess he just was too nice to the bat, so he didn't get the curse.
Oh, that is true. Daze is certainly a very nice guy.
Yeah, I think that's the only logical conclusion I can get to. Unfortunately, kind of missed the first silver hit here. It's a curse that we've seen a lot of people run into after the main tournament. Banning all the silvers, so no one is super comfortable with this fight anymore.
Luckily, no one has banned the King of Samaria. We are still able to see some nice block strats for these Bitstrobes. No King of Samaria? You are correct. Oh man, you have the Temper Sword. You're trying to just dash through all these guys, and yet you still get frame rolled. It's just... Oh.
Alright, so we're getting to the good parts here of the top against tower.
Yeah, just 4 more torches, and then we actually can see some more chests. Just not enough magic for that last fire rod.
He had 1 chance with the lamp, but it was a little bit too far away. You can definitely get the hit there though, that gap, you can still get it, but he was just a little bit too far away. And there's our hammer.
There is our hammer.
Right.
Very worthwhile climb, I guess, in this case. So hey, we can go back now and do the right side basement.
Yeah, and
the left side basement,
it doesn't need to kill Agate anyways, so it kind of works pretty nicely because you can use mirror after the last chest up here. Nice vanilla small key.
Yeah. Alright, so at this point, Daze is a big key to desert away from Goma. Of course, getting the hammer first means that we have so much more open to us. Unsure whether or not he wants to do right side G or left side G2 now. Just because on the one hand is pretty convenient, and he actually can get back here, reasonably, just because he has the hammer now. But on the other hand, he's got Crystal Dungeons now he can complete.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to do this. You're here, and if you just complete this now, you never have to come back. And it is a lot of items on the left side here. So it is mathematically one of the most likely places to actually find the big key.
Yeah, and if he ends up finding the key here, one, he could just nope out immediately, and then he could go mode, what is it, 2, 3 more dungeons? The hope for this seed, of course, is we're going to be able to skip left side swamp.
Oh, Smirk is about to find out that this connects to Lake Hylia.
Oh.
And probably like realize that like he had that connector this entire time. But it's still good news because like he doesn't have to take that other connector ever again now.
Yeah, that is certainly true, right? You know, once you kind of climb this the hard way, you're never gonna have to climb this terrible connector again.
I thought he was gonna do something fancy here because he did like the blue boomerangs right on the first room, and then he quick swapped over to the red one. But maybe that was just like a mistake because he looked a little bit confused when he was standing in that room with the red boomerang all of a sudden.
Alright, a couple more checks left for days. Got 4 more in random room, and then he did not open the big chest in Gannis Tower, right?
I think that's correct. He didn't have the big key first time in here. And there's a big key for Desert.
There it is. Alright, at just actually sub 2 hours. DazedCloud has hit go mode with his big Desert Palace big key.
Yeah, almost 2 hours, but just barely sub 2. Unfortunately, not sub 2 in terms of finish, but in terms of go mode at least.
Yeah, in terms of go mode, that's right.
It's gonna be pretty quick to finish the rest here because Desert is pretty quick, and Ice Palace in go mode is pretty quick too.
Yeah, and then for Swamp, he just needs to go to the back, right? So yeah, go mode Swamp is going to be also pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
And he, did make the right decision, right, into staying in Gannis Tower and trying to finish out the basement before leaving. Looks like Smirk is back in Ice Palace with that Ice Palace big key in hand. Looks like he is going to be able to get a couple more checks. Also, looks like they're also very successful icebreaker as well. Oh, unfortunate no key dash though on Dayside.
Yeah, you barely missed it. Was like a pixel away. All right, Clear Mouse, I have a very important question for you. No pressure, but this might be like the most important question you ever gotten.
I am ready. What is your important question, Walter?
All right, what music do you think we're gonna have for Ganon?
Oh man, that is... Oh. Walter, how dare you put me on the spot? I wasn't ready for this kind of pressure.
Yeah, I'm actually feeling a little bit bad about asking this question because I don't have a good reply for myself. I just realized.
Yeah, I mean, is there like a main Disney villain?
I mean, I think there's a lot of like Disney villain songs, isn't there?
So, admittedly, the first thing that I thought of was like a Cruella de Vil theme, because that was like the first for some reason Disney villain that I thought of that was like truly like evil. But I also don't think that's very fitting either.
I think I got it. The most evil Disney villain of all. It's Mickey Mouse, right? Sorry.
Mickey Mouse theme. Oh man, Walter. We're gonna find out very, very shortly, though. I'm actually really excited for this. Days, please hurry up and finish up the rest of the crystal so we can hear the music. Speaking of another potential high five, looks like actually we might be... Well, we're not going to be in the same group, but certainly we do see our runners in the same dungeon once again.
Yeah. And I think Smirk, I think he just realized he can't get any more items here without the hammer. So he went for the Death Warp instead of the Simiquid.
Really nice bufferless icebreaker on Day's side. And it's just sort of like really nice thing also about quick swap as well, right? You know, as you're trying to, you know, pull the tongue and kind of wait for these like little mini cutscenes, like in the rest of the game, you could just quick swap right over and just save yourself some more time.
Yeah. Right, so Smirk is heading to Kakariko. Not sure what we have over there that he hasn't done right now. Unless he's going for that connector again. Yeah, it looks like it. I think Vortex of Doom mentioned that like Smirk might think that the other connector is like a one-way connector. Which would explain why, like, he have been taking this like longer connector so far.
There are just some things, I guess, in CrossKeys that you just have to, you know, learn the hard way.
Yeah, that is something CrossKeys does. Like, it's a very good like learning experience because you run into a lot of like situations that you normally would never go into.
DazedCloud taking on Colster, it looks like he actually walked to use bombos to crack the shell. Puffs maybe got a little bit away from him, but you know, he's got so much defense and offense for that matter that, you know, Colster doesn't stand a chance. Most importantly, we've got our 6th crystal and 1 crystal closer to what we are eagerly waiting for the Ganon's fight music.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Like all of the bosses have had like unique themes so far.
Mm-hmm.
That's been like connected to like the music in that dungeon.
Alright, Smirk has come back into Skull Woods. Man, so I'm actually trying to figure out if he is in that much of a better position coming in. Certainly he has a requisite fighter sword, which is very useful and necessary in order to get to the back of Skull Woods, which is better than what he had before. However, that being said, it's still a fighter sword moth fight. Certainly not going to be as easy, but you know, we have certainly seen that if one thing Smirk has kind of shown us this round, this seed is his perseverance.
It's going for a spin here at the beginning, using a little bit of fire rod shots too. Getting a lot of good hits with the fire rod actually here. So like Mafia is quite damaged right now. The only like big problem, or like maybe not problem, but that makes this fight a little bit awkward when you start with the fire rod shots is like it's usually at the beginning of the fight where it's a little bit easier to get the swords hits in. So like if you start with the fire rod shots, then you can end up in like an awkward position like this. Oh, he does have a blood potion, so it should be quite safe. Oh,
that's right. Yeah, he visited the potion shop. That's right. After he found out that it was 10 arrows from the mushroom.
Mm-hmm. I think one more shot here should be
Nice. Yeah. He is, of course, well rewarded with a pendant.
Yeah,
his first pendant, of course. I'm sure he would have been very much happier to see a crystal, but, you know, taking down Mothula with a fighter sword and just a couple fire rod shots is certainly no joke, so... Meanwhile, though, Dazed is blazing through Swamp Palace. We are, you know, jamming to this MSU music. Kind of wishing he would take a little bit longer, but at the same time, I want him to hurry up and beat Argus so we can, you know, drop down a Ganon. This was, you know, okay, so the hammer position, or where it was placed up in, you know, upper GT, wasn't really great. However, you know, we didn't have to basically do, like, any of Thieves Town. Like, we never found Thieves Town Big Key. You know, we didn't do Left Side Swamp. I'm not sure actually how much of Pod we had to do at the end, but, you know, I guess it wasn't like, you know, we didn't also have to go beat Helma, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember where the GT big key was. I wonder if there would have been like a good way to get that key before going to Genesar the first time around. Because like that was the only big part stopping a runner to get the hammer early here.
Has taken down Argus. He is ready to, in this case, oh, he's already in the light world too? Oh, so convenient. I forgot. He is going to be able to warp out to 3 and then use his newly found hammer that he got like 10 minutes ago, and he's going to just knock down that last hammer peg and then drop right down to Ganon.
Oh yeah, right, Ganon's over here. Alright, moment of truth.
What do we have? No, Jixie!
Oh, I guess this is technically Disney music. I'm okay with this.
What can you enlighten us on what this track is?
As Duel of the Fates from Star Wars.
Oh. Very modern MSU, since Disney and Star Wars does have the alliance.
Yeah.
Alright, looks like, yeah, we were so focused on the music. I think Daze got the 1-1. Looks like he did pull out the cape in order to do, to stay extra safe, but we've got Silver's, even nicer, he's got the Torch Push with Fire Rod from afar, and a nice triple at the end.
Yeah, very nice Ganon fight. But also, shame on Daze for not letting us hear more music during that fight. But definitely get your GGs out though, because it was a very good run from DazedCloud here.
Yeah, oh yeah, GG's Daze. It's like, of course, we did finish, and he finished in first place with an official time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 45 seconds. I hope the music. Yeah.
I knew I was gonna get called out for that.
I mean, I think it made sense for you to walk in there when you did, especially like you didn't really have a lot of good guarantees to be in that area anytime soon, anyways. Like when you got there the second time around was after you did like almost everything in the Dark World, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like I went there and it was just kind of at the end of my route, so I'm going, well, yeah, I don't want to go in here because I'm like looking down, I'm like, you've got a bow and you've got like no real reason to go in here. It's just like, but it's at the end of this route, just go do it. Just go do it. Like, I'm in there the entire time just going, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And of course nothing. It had nothing. But it's like I had to check.
When you skip it, that's when everything is in there instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. It is what it is there. But I mean, it was kind of the thing. I knew my opponent here. I mean, shout outs to him. He's I think this might be his second ever CrossKeys. Like, so, just like I just want to give him all the love possible there for doing this. It's probably not the easiest thing in the world to have your second ever CrossKeys restreamed like this. But hope things have been going pretty well for him.
Yeah, like I think the big part that put Smirk quite behind was he didn't manage to get over to like the pod area to get the mirror, and the mirror like ended up blocking quite a bit in the seed.
Gotcha, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, oh God, when I went into Mire the first time there, and I'm looking down, I'm like, well, I'm swordless.
You were gonna go for the boss fight without silvers, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
100%. I was like,
because we were super hyped for it, and then we got like giga disappointed when we saw silvers.
That's right.
Yeah. I was both kind of disappointed and relieved at the same time, just because I'm like sitting there with like, okay, I'm like counting out my bombs. You know, at one point I switched. I was like gonna kill one of those berries there that had the key, and I was like, all right, I pulled out my bow, and I'm like,
yeah.
Your bow, you need every arrow.
Yeah.
And then when I got silvers, it was just like, oh, okay, this is easy now. But yeah, I mean, it all worked out pretty well. I hope everybody enjoyed the MSU.
We definitely did. We're like having like discussions and like thinking about what each dungeon was gonna be.
Yeah.
Do you know who made the MSU? Can you give a shout
that was Lauria. She just that was I saw it posted one time on like the Team 40 box bonks chat, and I was just kind of like, oh, sweet. And so I tried it one time, played with it, and probably got one of my worst times that I've ever gotten, just because I was laughing too hard.
Yeah.
Like, because it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, we certainly would not have complained if you just, extended the seat a little bit longer, so we can jam out to this music.
Oh man, I love when you finish there and you get your welcome at the end.
We were hoping that you were gonna do like a little bit of a bunny walk without the moon pearl, maybe pull pad just to get a little bit of extra tunes in.
Yeah, why did you have to find the moon pearl so early? We were really looking forward to the bunny music too.
Oh, I forget what the bunny music is. It's fantastic too. Oh wait, no, it's Star Wars. It's the Imperial March there. If you don't have a bunny, like seriously, anybody who's interested in this, go get this MSU. It's on the Discord, on the main Discord. Go pick it up off of there. It's just great. Yeah, I've been
much love, and thanks for tuning in to ZSR CrossKey Tournament 2021. Be sure to stop back tomorrow for some more races, and we will see you then.